In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Kakimori glass dip pen nib. I'll go over the specs, I'll do a writing sample, and I'm also going to be giving details at the end of the video for a giveaway. I am going to be giving one of these away, so please stay tuned towards the end for the details. Blake here with Blake's Broadcast. On this channel I review fountain pens, paper, and ink, and as always I put links in the show notes in the description below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, it really helps out my channel. Alright, let's get on with the review. This nib is an interesting one. It's one that I've wanted for quite a while. They have been out of stock from Kakimori for quite some time. I've had people ask me for when they're going to be back in stock. I don't know. We do sell Kakimori at thepapermind.com, but when I got an email from Kakimori saying that they are going to have some of these, but they're only going to sell them on their website. So I went to their website and bought one for myself personally. I bought an extra one to do a giveaway because I know a lot of you have been wanting one, so I could at least give you one. They are currently sold out on the Kakimori website, so it is what it is. Please stay tuned towards the end for details on the giveaway. Today we're going to be looking at the Kakimori glass dip pen nib. This is a nib that is sold out and has been sold out for quite a while. So this, I think, is a nib that's maybe difficult to make. I'm not exactly sure why it's been out of stock for so long and why they're sold out yet again. I believe the price that I paid, I think was 7,000 yen, not dollars, which comes out to about $50 US. And there's a very favorable exchange rate right now with the US dollar in Japan. It's not cheap, and you have to pay for shipping from Japan unless you make an order big enough. So it's not a cheap item here. And if we take a look at the design of it, you can see it's basically just a standard glass dip pen nib. Now it is weird that this is a nib and not a full glass dip pen as you would typically see, but you have this sort of brass piece that's folded around the glass here, and it's stamped Kakimori, and that allows it to fit into a dip pen holder like this Kakimori Sakura wood one. The way that it works is it just sticks in here, and I do find that this is a little bit harder to put in to a holder. I mean, not that that was really that hard, but just because you don't have the full cylinder, it's just half a part, so you just be careful with it. If it's a tight fit, just be gentle because it is glass. Now, one thing that I'll point out here too, compared to, the Kakimori metal nib and the pen nib here, you'll notice right away that this is significantly longer. That might be a comfort issue for some people. I haven't really been doing lots and lots of journaling with this, but you know, I've been able to write with it for a page or two without much issue. I do recommend a lighter dip pen holder. I originally put it on this, which I think looks really cool, the aluminum one, but I don't necessarily like the weight of that with this delicate nib and taller nib. It just didn't feel quite as comfortable to me. Let's go ahead and do a writing sample. So, going to be using Iroshizuku Tsuki-yo because I've just been doing a test of that. We use this little ink miser here to dip it. That's a ton of ink. And for a glass dip pen, I do find this to be quite smooth. Now, that's not as smooth. It's not going to be as smooth as a standard fountain pen nib, but for a glass dip pen, I think this writes pretty nicely. And if you kind of reduce the angle, you can get some wider strokes here. So what would I use this nib for? I think really it's great for testing ink. And one of the things I do like about it is that it's very easy to clean. It's probably as easy to clean as the Kakimori pen nib, but you do get to write with this longer because of the ink stays in the channels on the glass nib. So you get more lines out of this. And it's similarly easy to clean, and you do get you can make some wider strokes. So I really like that about it. What I would say is it's kind of a combination of this Kakimori dip, what's called the dip pen nib, in that you get the fine strokes. This is smoother than that, although this is probably not that smooth compared to some fountain pens, but it is, yeah, definitely smoother. And then if we go to one of the quote-unquote metal nibs, which would be this guy here, this Kakimori steel metal nib. Oh god, this is a little tight. Okay. This you can make similar lines, but you can go much wider. So for me, the glass nib is very pretty. If you only had one nib for testing ink, you could make do with that, or you could make do with one of these. These are just take a little bit more work to clean the Kakimori dip pen, the Kakimori metal nibs. I'm having trouble with the names because there's the pen nib, which is made out of stainless steel, and then there's the metal nib, which is either brass, like this one here, or it's steel like that one. So anyway, for clarification, these are the Kakimori metal nibs. This is the Kakimori pen nib. And then we have the obvious glass nib. It kind of has pros and cons of the pen nib and the metal nib. The pro from the pen nib is that it's very easy to clean. It's probably the easiest to clean. And then the pro from the metal style nib is that you can get some wider lines if you turn it on its side, and it holds more ink so you can write longer with it. But I don't think it's as nice to write with as either of those other two nibs, and especially the metal nibs, that one really is a jack of all trades. But if you really want to be changing ink colors super fast, I do think that the glass nib is better than the Kakimori metal nibs. The glass nib, I like it. I think the metal nibs are better, but the glass nib is very pretty. It's also more fragile. It's not something that I'm going to be adding to my regular ink testing kit just because I'm worried about damaging it mainly, but also the Kakimori metal nibs do everything that I want to do for ink testing, and you just get more line variation out of them. I just think it's a better overall thing. One other thing, just talking about the nib, it is a beautiful nib. It's handcrafted by glass artist Akiko Fukuzawa. It's pretty. It's definitely prettier than the other nibs, so, I like it. I'm happy to have it in my kit, but it's not something I would necessarily recommend over the other metal nibs. This video contains two firsts for this channel, the first ever 3 wardrobe changes in a single video, and the first ever giveaway. As I said earlier, I bought 2 of these Kakimori glass dip pen nibs, and one of them is going to be given away. To enter the giveaway, there is a link in the description below for a Google form, and all you need to do is give your name, email address, and you need to be a subscriber of this channel. 72 hours after I post this video, I will be selecting a winner at random. If you do want a second entry, basically double your chances of winning, you can head over to thepapermind.com and sign up for our newsletter. You just scroll to the bottom of the page and there is a box there to enter your email. Now, this is not required, and we do not send very many emails, 2 a month at most, and you can unsubscribe at any time. So what are my pros and cons for the Kakimori glass dip pen nib? The biggest pro here is that it's great for testing inks. It's smooth for a glass dip pen. Glass pens tend not to be as smooth as standard fountain pens, but it's smoother than many other glass dip pens that I've used, so the quality is very good. It looks very pretty with these sort of brass ferrule on here and the aluminum. If you use one of these aluminum Kakimori dip pen holders, this is something separate obviously, but it just looks really pretty. I really like that. Now, the glass pen is really good for testing inks. It performs very similar to the metal Kakimori dip pen nibs, the steel and the brass, in that you dip it and it holds a good number of ink. You can make wide strokes, although not quite as wide as the brass and steel one, and you can write with it normally. Very nice in that sense. The benefit here is that this is easier to clean, so it's easy to clean like the Kakimori pen nib, but you kind of get the functionality of the metal brass and steel nib. So kind of a best both worlds situation there, so I do really like it for that. Now there are downsides. The biggest downside to a glass nib is that it's fragile. These are easy to break. So, if you were asking me which nib to buy for testing inks, I would steer you more towards the brass metal nib, or the steel is my preferred one, metal Kakimori nib, just because you get similar functionality. They're a little bit harder to clean, but still very easy to clean, and you get more, I think, durability and ultimately more functionality out of them. The other downside is the availability. These are sold out. They've been sold out for a while. They're also expensive. Also, in terms of comfort, it is it's longer than the other Kakimori dip pen nibs, and so you have to hold it back pretty far on the dip pen holder. Could be a comfort issue for some. I haven't personally done like lots and lots of writing, journaling with this. I wouldn't pick this for that, but if you wanted to do that, this could be potentially a comfort issue. But that's pretty much it. Do you guys have this nib? Do you like this nib? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you like this video, please hit that like button, and if you want to see more fountain pen, paper, and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, and until next time.